Hi everybody, Mark here with Camino Tranquilo, and this is our last episode of the Couch to Camino project for 2026. I am back, obviously, here in the Cozy Cottage, and let's go through a little bit of your post-Camino experience, because believe it or not, there's a little bit of stuff we need to take care of. Before we get started, please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, or shoot me an email at askmeacaminoquestion at gmail.com, and I'll get those answered and probably steal them for our Q&A episodes. I am going to keep doing weekly Q&A episodes, so if you have, opening a drink, if you have any questions about the Camino, even if you think we've probably answered it before, go ahead and shoot it out there, and I'll use it for the weekly. And as soon as I get done with this video, I'm going to shoot that weekly, and that one's, it's a little bit end of Camino or my personal Camino centered, just because, you know, I'm fresh off the plane and kind of got my thoughts organized, and I've got only about half a dozen questions, but they're good questions, and a couple of them will take a few minutes to answer, so we'll get those done. And please, if you find any of this content or the content on the channel useful, please like and subscribe. It does help, not so much me, but it does help the videos get out to other people. So definitely, if you find them useful, just hitting the like button does help the algorithm pick it up and put it out into the hands of people who may be walking the Camino as well. For the couple of people I met out there on Camino, that was great. Thank you very much. It was a very sweet experience. I never really expected, with, you know, a couple thousand, whatever, I've got subscribers, I didn't think I had ever actually met anybody. So that was pretty cool. You know, little embarrassing, but pretty cool. So coming up, I've got some changes that I've sort of alluded to when I was in Santiago. I've already done some changes here on the channel. If you go to the channel page, you'll see that I've uploaded a couple of more playlists. One for equipment, one for how-tos. I'm going to be breaking the 2026 Couch to Camino project into different playlists, so you don't have to just listen through the whole thing, unless you want to. Those will stay up. And then the Q&As that are sort of the Camino Tranquilo stuff that I'll be doing here over the next year, whatever. I'll break those into a separate playlist as well. So it'll be, if you're new to the channel and you want to catch up on stuff, it'll be a little bit easier to go back and kind of a cleaner presentation. The other surprise is, years ago I built a website. Back in 2019, I built a website after Clyde and I got back from our Camino. And I think I was looking at the back end of stuff this morning, and I think I'm going to go ahead and fire that up. Once that's up, I'm going to, it'll be a lot of what we talked about in the Couch to Camino project, but it'll be in, you know, easily accessible written form. It is optimized to be on mobile as well as desktop. And somewhere in there, I still need to craft it here in the next week. Things like the template for my training program that you'll be able to download as a Google document or a Google Sheet, so you can actually check mark things as you go. Plus, I'm going to give you my spreadsheet that I use for organizing my Camino. And just because I'm kind of lazy, I'm going to put it out there with my preferred stages, the vacation days I like to take, and a few things. And I've got like which bit is the Cruz de Ferro, the Alta de Padon, that kind of stuff. Those will be listed in there as well. And you'll be able to download those to your phone, and you can then populate them. My stages are already populated in there with the last best GPS information I took as far as distance for the stages. And then there's a column that has the what I consider the difficulty, whether it's very hilly, maybe a 3 or a 4, or flat and easy and short, maybe a 1 or a 2. There's also a section in there for, you know, you can add in all of your correct dates, There's columns for how many days am I actually walking, how many days am I actually in the EU, because for me it's different because I usually take a little vacation time before. And then lastly, there's a whole section on, for quick reference, once you've got some things booked, you can go ahead and put the names of your accommodations and whether you have them booked or anything or not. But I think once you get in, you'll play around with it. Maybe I'll do a quick video on how I manipulate that as I go. Plus, it's kind of fun. At the end of the day, I will, when I'm on Camino, I will look at that individual day. I will, highlight a different color to say it's done and enter in my new GPS stuff if I'm tracking that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyway, it's a nice little tool to help you get organized. Plus, when you're talking to other people, maybe in your groups or whatever, you can get a very quick read. You can pull that up on your phone, look at it and say, yes, I'm going to be at Astorga on May 16th or whatever. So anyway, a nice little tool, and I will try to get all that stuff up and available here in the next week or two. The website's a little old. I have to update some stuff on it for current reality of the Camino, but other than that, it's pretty much ready to go. So I'll let you know when that's ready to fire it up. So this week, let's talk about your post-Camino experience. You've spent months getting ready for the Camino. You spent weeks walking the Camino, and now you're finally home. Now what? So step one actually happens in the airport, be it in Madrid, Barcelona, Paris, wherever you're flying out of, flying back to your home out of. If you don't live in the EU and you have euros left over, what do you do with them? I prefer just to tuck them away. If I think I'm going to be going back to Europe, they're going to be good the next time I go, so I'll just save them for the next trip. If you think you're never going to go back to Europe, the biggest thing is don't go to the currency exchange counters in the airports, train stations, anything like that. They give the absolute worst trade value, exchange value for your currency. Don't use those. They were a massive ripoff. You could, when you get home, if you had gotten a few euros from your bank, you can go back and exchange them possibly. AAA does currency conversion. You could possibly do that. You may be able to do depending on your bank, you may be able to actually do a cash deposit at the airport, deposit the euros into the machine. That's kind of rare anymore. I mean, very rare anymore, but you never know. It's, check with your bank, see if that's possible. The other thing is, and I tried it, I did it with a small amount. What I will do is I will get a Starbucks gift card at the airport or the train station, wherever, or Starbucks in Spain, whatever you feel like doing. I will buy a gift card, bring it home, and I'll load it into my Starbucks app because, the nearest Starbucks is an hour and a half from here, but still. There's one closer. There's one an hour away. But still, you can bring that, and you don't lose anything in the conversion other than the usual dollar to euro, euro to dollar conversion, but you don't miss, or you don't get a whole lot of banking fees attached to it. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But biggest thing, I think the easiest thing is just, assume you're going to go back and just hang on to them. If during your last week of the Camino, don't get a whole lot of cash, so you don't have to worry about taking a whole bunch home. But sometimes it happens. It happens to me almost every time because I think I'm going to do something in Santiago or Madrid, and it turns out that they're either closed or I don't find what I'm looking for or whatever, so I just don't. So let's talk about when you get home. So you've been walking for weeks. You got your backpack, you got your boots, you got your hiking poles, everything. You get out of your car. Now, before you got in your car at the airport, the best practice protocol is when you get into your vehicle at the airport, take your backpack, put it in a trash bag, seal the trash bag, put it in the trunk or put it in the back of the vehicle. Because you may have picked up bed bugs. You just never know. If you're doing your Camino in the busy time when there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be sharing those spaces with you, you might have picked up bed bugs. Let's not spread them around. Let's do what we can. If you want to get really paranoid, you can have your loved one or whoever bring you a clean pair of clothes. After you get your luggage, you change in the bathroom at the airport, put everything inside your backpack, put the backpack inside a trash bag, including your shoes, your boots, whatever you've been wearing, and you seal those up, you drive home. When you get home, do not take that into your house. Go around to your back patio, go into your garage, somewhere that's not in your living space. If there's anything inside that backpack that you're worried about getting damaged, because we're about to do some extreme things to that backpack, things like if you have any electronics, although your electronics you should have been carrying with you, toiletries, things like that, grab those out of there, seal the trash bag back up, and you're going to put that entire thing into your freezer, your deep freeze, for 4 to 7 days. The surest way to kill anything that's living in the backpack as far as bed bugs is to freeze it. Yes, you can do heat treatments, but that's really damn hard on your clothes. It's really hard on your backpacks. So when you get home, freeze all that stuff. We did it when we came back from Vietnam and Cambodia, just in case. You never know what's going to be crawling around in your bags after you've been, spending a lot of time in hostels and whatever else. So it's easier, or it's better to do this little paranoid step than to find out you got to spend $10,000 to heat treat your entire home to deal with a bed bug issue later. So throw it into the deep freeze, 4 to 7 days. After that, you can pull it out, do your laundry as normal. And yeah, just doing your laundry, a good hot wash cycle, a very good high heat dry cycle will take care of bed bugs, but that high heat dry cycle can damage any of your tech clothes that you've got, or your wool socks, or your wool under your merino wool shirts or anything. You don't want to expose it to that heat, so do the freezer thing. And honestly, I don't do that every single time. If I'm there during a very, very, very busy time when I come back from Camino, I will. This time I didn't, because I really wasn't in hugely busy albergues, and at this point I'm really good about checking the room I'm going to be in or the bunk I'm going to be in to make sure there's a little chance of bed bugs. So just be aware. Okay, number 2. If you're like me, you've taken hundreds, if not thousands of photos. Even if you're using Google Photos or iCloud, anything like that, go ahead and do a hardware backup off your phone to your laptop or your desktop. Go ahead and do it. You might as well. Having a third, primary being your device, secondary being the cloud, tertiary being another backup source. It doesn't hurt. It may take an hour, your phone cable to your laptop or your desktop, whatever, but go ahead and save those things just in case. It never hurts to have a little backup, and then that way maybe you can take them off your phone and just pull them off of iCloud or Google Photos when you want to show people stuff, because, man, you're going to kill your storage on your phone if you take as many pictures as I do. But number 3, this is the really important one. Now that we've gotten the little things out of the way, spend some time with your family and friends. You've been away for a while. They're going to have lots of questions. Spend some time letting them know why the experience was special for you. And, if there was some negative stuff, let them know. Don't make it all rosy. But just share the experience with them, and be sure you thank them for being part of your life and allowing you to do such a special thing, and being understanding with you being gone for a while, or them taking care of your plants and your critters. If you bought any souvenirs back for them, that's the time to really thank them for allowing you to do this, because chances are you're going to want to do it again, and it's always nice to have somebody that's willing to help you out in the future as well. So, but love your family, love your friends, spend some time with them. Number 4, this is one that I've gotten bit before, but by before, because I kind of forgot about it, is if you have anything you're paying for that you upgraded for your Camino as far as monthly subscriptions for like your device here. VPNs, your eSIM, if you've used an electronic SIM card for data on your phone while you're in the EU. Expanded storage for iCloud or Google Photos. Anything like that you have paid a subscription for, if you don't need it when you get back, or you didn't buy a year package, make sure you turn those off. There's no sense getting, billed another $29 a month for each of those, or whatever it is, for the foreseeable future, because you kind of forgot. And I've done that before. I did that for some storage back in 2022. So, oops. It was only for about a month, but still, $30 is $30. So look at all your digital stuff, look at all your subscriptions, make sure you've got all that taken care of. Your hiking stuff. You may have picked up some stuff that you, kind of are not going to use again. Pack all that stuff neatly away. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's neatly folded, rolled, however you like to store your stuff. Pack that stuff away, get a good tub with a seal so the spiders and the critters can't get into it. Tuck that stuff away and have it in a place where it's easy to find for your next trip, because chances are you're going to want to do this again, which leads us to number 5, planning your next trip. There's 2 things that's going to happen when you get back from your Camino. You're either going to say, I'm never doing this again. I have friends that have said that. And you say, I enjoyed Spain, but I did not enjoy the experience of the Camino. I found it frustrating. I didn't like being around people in that close proximity and the bunk beds, whatever it may be. The other flip side of that is you may come back thinking, I am ready to go back now. I'm ready to sell everything, move to Spain, and just walk around Spain for the next 5 years. It happens as well. I've had Caminos where I've come back swearing I would never go back and do it again. I would go to Spain for vacation, but I'd never hike another Camino, and I've done multiple since then. And like this Camino, I'm pretty much ready to repack my backpack and go back next week. It was a fantastic time. So just think about, if you are going to think about planning your next Camino, don't do it now. You want to give yourself a month or 2 of reflection time and come off the high of the Camino and all the great things about it, or all the negative things about it if you had a down. And, in 2 to 3 months, you're going to have a very different view on the Camino and have a better view of, or better idea of, if you want to go back or not. So, and I hope you do. It's something I dearly love. It's changed my life. It's changed me for the better. And, yeah, I just love it. And yes, I have my other Camino already planned. Me and the boys are looking at going back to, I think I mentioned before, we're going to fly into Lisbon in Portugal, spend some time in Lisbon, take the train up to Oporto and Gaia, spend some time in Gaia, and then our spouses will fly home, and we're going to walk from Oporto to Santiago, Santiago to Fistera, Fistera to Muzia. So we're going to do the coastal walk as well. Should be, all told, we should be gone about 30 days. And we will be doing that September 1 of 2027. And because this is going to be a route I haven't walked before, I'm just starting now doing some preliminary research. I may be doing on and off a Couch to Camino 2027, the Portuguese episodes, starting in September. I've got another trip in September. My wife and I are going to be going out of the country for a few weeks. But when I get back, maybe we'll start with the Portuguese Couch to Camino. But we'll see how it goes. So anyway, that about wraps it up for the post. Oh, I didn't write it down, so I forgot. Your pilgrim's credential, get that stored in a safe place. If you're going to have it framed, remember to have the framer. Don't just buy something from Walmart and throw it in there to display your stamps. The ink used in those stamp pads are cheap. It is not UV stable. It is not light set. They will fade dramatically over time. Take them to a good framing shop and make sure they use a UV shielding glass or plastic, whichever you opt for, in that to make sure that UV light isn't hitting and bleaching those cheap stamps. And if you have wax seals on your Camino credential as well, they can do a frame that has a little bit of a gap. It's called a rabbit, a little bit of a rabbit. So those will be in there nice. So anyway, think about taking care of that, and any of your travel credit cards, your U.S. or your national passport, whatever. Don't just leave those laying around in your stuff because they can get lost. Get those in a locked firebox or your fire safe, wherever you keep your safe deposit box at the bank, wherever you keep that stuff. Get that stuff taken care of in the first couple of days, so a month or two later you're not bouncing around the house and you just find your passport laying around, because those are a real pain to replace. So anyway, now we're at the end. So just to recap, if you have any questions for the Q&As, please shoot them to me at the email address, askmeacaminoquestion@gmail.com, or leave them below and I'll get back to you. And after I shut the camera off here, we're going to dive right into a quick little post-Camino Q&A. So I will see you guys. Thank you all very much for coming along on this ride. It's amazing. This has been like a journaling experience for me, talking to you, just getting my thoughts onto camera, having to think this stuff out, because there's a lot of stuff that rattles around up here in the old monkey meat, and it's just healthy for me to be able to get this stuff figured out. And I feel like I have a better view of the Camino and how my prep goes, and I hope that it's helped you out too. So Q&A is coming up next, and I will see you guys later.